Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Well, over the next few weeks, we will be profiling the successes of some of Ireland's youngest entrepreneurs. Kicking the segment off this week is 27-year-old Darragh Scanlon, who is the founder of Herdfinder, a new online marketplace for buying and selling cattle. Darragh, while you come from an agricultural family, your early career has been in corporate finance. Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure, Karl. In my undergraduate, I would have done finance and a master's in finance. And over the last 3.5 to 4 years now, I've been working with a corporate finance wealth management firm called Key Capital based in Stephen's Green in Dublin. You know, that's typically ranging from high net worth individuals, from kind of sole traders and entrepreneurs and guiding them through the sale process of their businesses. Working with entrepreneurs on a daily basis really gives you a strong insight into terms of, you know, how they look at businesses, their strategic thinking and their ultimate goals, which is, you know, it mightn't be in many plans, but ultimately it is often looking for a sale as they head towards retirement.
So talk to us about Herdfinder and how you identified the opportunity for this product in the market.
So coming from an agricultural background, the only other platform out there where you could actually browse cattle or buy and sell online is through Done Deal. And looking at it from a strategic perspective, what we wanted to do is sort of to try and bridge that gap for farmers. You know, there was a significant increase post-COVID, so of farmers becoming online largely because they had no choice. And I suppose doing a lot of background research, doing a lot of market mapping and I suppose coming up with the idea in the first place of having a one-stop shop for farmers was the ultimate goal. And we've been on the road now just slightly over a year, Karl.
Traditionally, of course, these transactions would have been completed face-to-face. So how does Herdfinder actually work?
So essentially, Herdfinder it's an online listing platform. We don't have any part to play in the sales process apart from act as the main vehicle between both a buyer and seller. It's a tried and tested business model where you try and acquire, once you're niche enough, which we are, and you build up enough of a user base over time, you know, it certainly pays dividends. We don't want to get in the way of farmers in terms of trying to manage processes, trying to manage transport. It's completely up to them. But what we do want to be is that perfect one-stop shop where if they know they need to sell cattle in Ireland, this is the platform that they go to. If they need to get certain price information about their cattle, we're the number one stop shop.
And why would a farmer use Herdfinder instead of utilising Done Deal?
Coming from my background, it's one of the first challenges that I identified when trying to offload cattle. The first thing you think of, the likes of a Done Deal or an adverts.ie, the first thing you think of is cars, anything to do with, you know, any sort of machinery, but the number one would be cars. So we just wanted to create a direct, specific niche for the farming community that they can avail of. Like a prime example in what was an already saturated market at the time was Agriland. Agriland has gone into a very, very successful business today when they found their niche and were able to grow, you know, over a 10 to 12 year period into the business they are today.
How have you gone about creating awareness within the farming community about Herdfinder?
A lot of it, Karl, would be we've attended several livestock shows events over the last 12 months, getting the name out there. You know, I suppose the biggest thing in our industry, and I know firsthand from being at Marts and I suppose wheeling and dealing from a young age, you know, being involved in farming, especially from my father's background, is definitely word of mouth. You know, we've been trying to get to many Marts across the country. A lot of Marts actually have come on board with us. You know, and that's been a huge credit to them, and they seem to be paying dividends because, unfortunately, look, a lot of marts don't have, I suppose, the financial backing or the expertise to be able to, apart from the odd Facebook page where they have, you know, they don't have much of an online presence, and you know, that's really helped us. But I suppose a lot of organic social media has been another one, Karl, where we've just Facebook is a fantastic tool. I suppose what we've utilised and seen in the market is suppose Facebook is there for the older type category, I suppose, from anywhere between 50 years old upwards. So you're probably old category of farmers, whereas we've also utilised TikTok where we've 20,000 followers, and that's appealing then to I suppose, our up-and-coming and younger generation of farmers.
And while the listings are free, how are you making money from the marketplace?
Initially, the first 12 months, we've made a small bit of revenue, largely from the marks onboarding, so they pay us a subscription fee in order to produce the marks across our social media. We will be introducing a subscription model in a couple of years, but largely at the moment it's ad-based revenue as well. So we have about 2 to 3 different streams coming to the fore over the next 12 months, and further on. So, but I suppose the beauty of the platform is we've built it, a lot of it ourselves. We've designed a lot of it ourselves. And apart from, I suppose every founder will tell you there's several costs that are ongoing in a business, but we've managed, I suppose, coming from my financial background and my investment background, we've managed to keep the cost extremely low, which is fantastic for us, because you see a significant burnout rate in many startups, not only in Ireland but across the world.
And Darragh, we touched upon it at the start of the interview where you said that many business owners, their end goal ultimately is to sell the business. So is that also your intention here with Herdfinder in the years ahead? And have you identified some potential buyers at this stage for it?
I think it's too early to say, Karl, at this stage. Look, of course, there's in any marketplace and any industry, there's always going to be a couple of interested parties. But I think come back to me in 20 years' time and ask me the same question.
What additional functionality on the site is going to assist you in reaching that goal?
So what we have, I mentioned, we've been working with the marks quite a bit, which is, I suppose, built up quite a bit of a defence mechanism for us, I suppose, and as a barrier to entry, for many. And what we've also been working with as well is a lot of the breed society. So we're working now in the background to add a couple of additional features, while bringing in a couple of breed societies on board, which will help us hugely with our credibility. And I suppose of being that perfect one-stop shop where we're trying to feed in every facet of our business where we can. And look, coming back to other marketplaces out there, I suppose sticking to your niche and sticking to what you know and being able to build that within the farming community is what we can see will pay us dividends down the line,
And Darragh, what has been the greatest business lesson that you've learned to date?
But the biggest business lesson I have learned is business is 1% business and 99% marketing. We were absolutely gobsmacked in terms of how difficult it was at the very, very beginning. That when we set up the platform, we expected loads of users overnight, but that simply doesn't happen. And I feel like a lot of people can agree with me on that one.
And finally, Darragh, of course, side hustles are becoming more and more popular in Ireland amongst young people like yourself. As I mentioned at the start of the interview, you're currently working in corporate finance. So how have you managed to run the marketplace and at the same time hold down a pretty demanding full-time job?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Investment banking is no joke. Significant long hours. But I suppose the biggest thing is I'm a bit of a sucker for punishment too. Having started the platform 12 months ago, while to many from the outside it may seem like it made me a lot of work, but I suppose the beauty of setting up a listing platform is essentially it's running itself, which is the beauty of of Herdfinder. Apart from running the couple of market reports, we've a good team there's 3 of us working in the business all together. So, we all have full-time positions, but, we're able to navigate through that fairly successfully, and it's been a breeze. Apart from the initial significant lot, I suppose there's a lot of evenings, a lot of weekends in setting up the platform initially, but I suppose given the fact that we're so niche and a lot of people know exactly what we're about, you'd be surprised in terms of how much pressure that takes off you in terms of getting the name out there in terms of trying to explain to people on a day-to-day what it is actually we do, because I think the platform is pretty clear from the outset. But look, there's no doubt about it. It's a high-pressure environment I'd be working with on a daily basis, but I'm absolutely loving this journey and couldn't recommend it enough to anyone.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Darragh Scanlon from Herdfinder, and I'd like to wish Darragh every success with this new venture.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.